favorite activity, if not a strenuous one, is to explore all the closes here in Old Town. These are steep, narrow alleyways that run off of the Royal Mile. They got their name close because they'd be closed off at night, to keep the riffraff out. And it's hard, just walking around not to think how charming these are, when in reality, this was a dirty, stinking, rotten place. If I was walking around in the 16th century, I'd have to be on guard for the cry, "Guardiloo!" which meant someone up above was dropping the contents of their chamber pot, their own waste, onto the street. There's a myth that Edinburgh has an underground city, that beneath these streets there's a maze of narrow passageways and homes that for centuries have been inhabited by ghosts. Well, that myth is actually quite true, and if you should go down into the depths, you will want to bring a doll.
Carefully mind your step now. As you come down the steps, you're making your way 3.5 stories beneath the Royal Mile onto Mary King's Close itself, where all sorts of people were living here back in 1629.
At that time, Mary King's Close was a neighborhood on street level, but there have since been 3.5 centuries of Edinburgh construction on top of it.
So carefully come this way. As you make your way down Mary King's Close now, you can imagine all sorts of people, different classes and various walks of life, living on the street here as they would have done. If you look behind you just now, indeed you can see a little room similar to what Mary King herself would have had when she lived here back in the day. The furniture, like that wooden settle or seat that you can see there, and on the top shelf we've got 2 drinking vessels. Goodness knows I'll be needing a strong drink by the time we're finished today, so do keep an eye on those as we make our way around.
These catacombs are literally where people lived, and, so the story goes, where they died.
Well, let's not hope you've caught the plague, otherwise you might end up staying here for 2 to 6 weeks, or perhaps death, whichever comes sooner.
The entire close and everyone in it was said to be sealed up in an effort to contain the bubonic plague, making this one of the most haunted sites in all of Scotland.
So, how do you feel in this room just now? Feeling anything at all?
It's pretty creepy. Yeah.
Because you're not alone. In this room just now, there is a little girl called Annie. Annie was a little child who lived here in Edinburgh at the time of the plague in 1645. At the time of her death, we find that Annie had only the company of one little doll to ease her suffering. But having died, of course, the doll had gone missing. But when the story spread to the 4 corners of the world, all sorts of people would come to this room, leaving the things that you see here gathered beside us. People hope by leaving their own token to finally bring Annie's soul to rest.
I have a little doll.